Well, I was thinking in just an example would be, I was at a partner, my partner always was out, never called me, never let me know when they were coming home. Who knows what they were doing? So that breaks up, but for whatever reason, and then you get in a new relationship, and that first time that partner, maybe they got sidetracked, their phone died, but you get so your
Mm.
escalation is much higher probably because all of a sudden this is
Right.
happening to you, and those are the things that I think you have to manage yourself. And then also the partner will know, oh boy, this is kind of a trigger for them. Is that, I mean, would that be something they would know also? And I mean, it's obviously
Right.
who's escalating, they have to learn to manage themselves as well. But
And of course, the self-soothing or ability for you to calm yourself down and be able to talk to your partner about your distress without escalation is a big skill that people need to learn. But in the moment, the partner doesn't show up in your example, they got sidetracked and they didn't call back home and came late. And the other person is worried, okay, here we go again. The same thing I had in the previous relationship is happening now. That's a time to talk to your partner and say, this is really scary for me. It's really scary for me when you don't let me know because all the memory is coming back. And the other partner can reassure them and say, I know this is so tough for you. I get it. And I want to reassure you that I want to keep you safe. And also now have a mental note and say, my partner needs my support. So if I
right,
go out or if I do something, I need to text her maybe and say, honey, I'm still here. I'll be home at this time. And if you're delaying coming home, then just a small text. I mean, technology now allows us to do things we couldn't do before. It allows us to constantly keep your partner in a loop. For example, me and my wife, we use Find Friends and we connect it all the time. So if I go someplace, she knows exactly where I am. And if she's around me, she may even text me and say, hey, I know you're here. I'm a couple of blocks away. Do you want to get some coffee or some tea, right? And having this technology actually helped us a lot. It keeps safety. It feels comfortable and safe. Now my kids connected to me. They want to know where I am. So I said, okay, connect. Now they know everywhere I am. And now grandkids are connected. So, and now my niece said, well, I want to be part of this. I want to know where everyone
yeah,
is. And now we have this hive, right? That everybody
yeah,
knows where everybody is. And the overall stress for everybody in the family just goes down. So to know your partner's sensitive areas that were developed in the past relationships helps you to keep your partner safe,
yeah.
and in a way helps you to be closer to your partner.
Jack has been married for a very long time, and I look at him as a relationship expert because he sees hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of people who have issues and working through them. But he doesn't just teach it, talk about it, he lives it, because you have been, how long? 42 years, you said?
42 years this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I told him was 22 years is a record, but 42 years, I don't even know what that is. That's just amazing. It's a Super Bowl of relationships.
Well, and I want to kind of bring it up that it doesn't mean that every year was a fairy tale year, right?
Right.
We went through some tough patches, and it happens with every relationship. But one thing that we agreed when we got married is that divorce is not something we're looking at.
Right.
Whenever there's a difficulty, our goal is to work through this and then
Yeah.
to find a way to protect our relationship. I think that common view that relationship is something we both need to protect. It's like you have a nest egg, right? Something you protect that, right? Make sure that your family is financially safe. Well,
Right.
the same thing in the relationship. It's an entity by itself. We can't just say it's Jack and Lola, right? No, there's a relationship that holds us together. That's a glue that keeps us together.
Right.
And that relationship, if it's unattended to and it's not protected, eventually it will become smaller. Just like if you take too many withdrawals from that relationship and don't put anything in.
Really appreciate you saying that because nowadays with social media, everyone looks super happy and content. And then 2 weeks later, we're getting divorced. What? You were literally just on this amazing cruise and hanging out. So saying that is truth, and it's the reality of life. There is no perfect life out there. There's no perfect relationship. Everyone has their ups and downs because we're human beings. We're just different, and you just how you learn to manage it, which I think you and your wife have really conquered in the sense of knowing that we have to check in, we have to do this, and And like you said, it's still a work in progress. It's always, relationships are just that. But again, I appreciate saying that, because on the outside, oh my gosh, they're so happy, 42 years, it's amazing. It's probably just, it's been a fairy tale ride the whole way. But you being honest, it's just fair.
Yeah,
And
yeah. There's a roller coasters in every relationship, and the important part is, what is your goal in mind together? And the goal probably is, from the beginning, is to have this tender, loving, caring, and protective relationship that you can keep for the rest of your life. I think that applies to many relationships that people want. They don't want that heavy, thick, difficult relationship where you struggle every single day. And when the struggles come, I want people to know that there's help. A lot of people are afraid to go to a therapist, or think they're not going to help them. But people, we know what relationship looks like. The therapists train a lot to make sure that we can protect and support your relationship, and especially people who are focusing in modalities like emotionally focused approach in the relationship, or maybe integrative behavioral couples therapy. These approaches have proven to help. In fact, the emotionally focused therapy approach, 75% of the couples had complete recovery from their distress, and they go on and live their life, right? And 90% of the couples report significant improvement in their relationships. What's also nice about couples therapy is it's not a long-term therapy. Most of it is between 12 to maybe 18, 20 weeks. If there are some circumstances where there's some addiction, infidelity, that takes a little bit longer. But most of the couple therapy is not a long-term process. And many couples that I work, they go on and live their life on their own, because they have learned and they understand what needs to be done. And once in a while, if they get stuck, they call me and we have one session and they're back to their own life.
Kind of like a tune-up. Is it so to manage the thought of expectations of this? Is it a once a week kind of thing? Is it a twice a week, or is it?
Well, typically the way it works, you meet initially once a week, but at some point, as things get better and fights decrease and you're able to communicate and connect with each other, you jump to once every 2 weeks, and then once every 3 weeks, and then the therapy is completed.